So normally I open my videos with a funny little sketch or bit just to kick things off with a laugh, but I would be remiss not to offer my own condolences to Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva and all of the family members and friends affected by this horrible tragedy. It's something that I couldn't imagine going through myself, but if there are a couple of things that I can look to as solace in all of this, is that one, I do know for a fact, even though I'm not a Liverpool fan, I know for a fact that Liverpool fans live up to "you never walk alone." It's their mantra for a reason. I have no doubt that the family members will not be alone through this. And the other thing is, I think the reaction online has been very, very positive, which is not something you can say about the internet very often. But in all the comment sections that I've been seeing, I've not seen one trolly or negative comment about the situation. There are probably some, but they've either not gotten the attention that they want or they've just been deleted, which I think is the perfect way to deal with this. But everything I've seen has been nothing but positive. And I think that's just something that's kind of the bright spark in all of this, is that we can all come together on this. Regardless of what your club allegiances are, we can all understand that this has been a tragic, tragic loss. And I really do hope that everybody affected by this feels the love of the football community. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get to the review. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Blues and Stripes. So let's talk about this match, because it was not a phenomenal match. It was not the most comfortable match, even though it felt like it in the first half. There was definitely a lot about this match that surprised me in good and bad ways. But first, we'll talk about the referees again, because I think I've already said it, but the refereeing performances in this tournament have been very, very biased against seemingly the bigger sides. Like I said before, it felt like the European sides were getting shafted, but honestly, it just feels like the bigger sides, the more favored sides, have been getting the worst decisions, especially in our matches, because we are technically the favored sides in all of the matches we played so far. I would say out of all the bad decisions that the referees have been making in these matches, which there are a lot of them because these referees are just not good enough, but I would say it goes against us 70% of the time, at least. There have been some matches where it's been higher. Like the Flamengo match was like 100%. The Benfica match was 90%. This one was about 80%, if I'm being honest. He wasn't completely against us, but it was still pretty high. You got Joao Pedro coming on. First thing he does, makes a brilliant tackle, wins the ball. It's a foul. Gusto gets slapped in the face by a guy who then falls over. Foul against Gusto. Palmer goes in, wins the ball, gets kicked in the process. Foul against Palmer. So many moments of that. And just throughout the match, just several moments of little nudges, and then they go flying and flopping and crying like a 5-year-old who just got his candy taken away, and the referee's just giving it almost every time. And then we're getting knocked off the ball, shoved, little arms thrown into us, and just nothing. There's nothing for us. It's just very frustrating whenever the other team is giving us a game, and it's a good game. They're pushing us. They're making us work. We don't need the referee to step in and give them that extra little helping hand. And yet they're always there to help out. Give that little extra boost. Give them a foul right when they need it. Take the pressure off right when they need it. It's embarrassing. But anyways, on to what we did. First of all, Maresca. I really, really don't understand him. And I'm not going to put Maresca out in my thumbnail because I'm not going to disrespect Diogo Jota and Andre Silva like that. But really, look at the decisions he made today and tell me why I should be trusting him as a manager. Look at his original lineup. He puts James again in midfield. Why? I understand Lavia's hurt. I understand Caicedo's out. So you go with Fernandes and Santos. Fernandes and Asugo. You go with a midfield with two midfielders. Not a midfielder and a right back, who's already proven he can't play there. But on top of that, what it means is Gusto is again at right back. Why? Why is Achimpong not given a chance? What has Gusto done? And don't even talk about the goal, because come on, that's not even his fault. But what has Gusto done to prove that he deserves to start over Achimpong, outside of the fact that he's just a bit older? I'd rather see our teenager from our academy go out there and maybe make a few mistakes because he's young, rather than Gusto go out there and make mistakes because he's just not good enough. And yet, here we are. And it's Maresca. It's all Maresca. You look at the subs he brings on. What changes does he make? Nothing. The only change he really made is bringing on Pedro instead of Jackson. That's about it. But everything else, it's everything we've seen before. Yes, and Nkuku on the left, maybe a little bit different, but that's just because he's not been involved. But who goes out on the left when Nkuku comes off? Madueke. Have we seen him on the left before? Oh yeah, several times, and he's not been good enough. And yet, let's do it again. Forget the fact that we've got a young teenager who maybe could give us something. Forget we've got Jackson, who apparently played left wing before, and maybe it would be interesting to see what he could do, especially when you put him up there and Pedro's up there too. Maybe give us something a little bit different, but no. We're not going to change that. Dewsbury-Hall on the right side, we've seen that before. Didn't work very well. let's do it again. Just like I said when we played the Tunisian side, Madueke on the left, Dewsbury-Hall on the right, we're playing a right winger on the left side, and we're playing a midfielder on the right wing. How about we play the right wing on the right wing side and then the midfielder on the left wing side? So that way we only have one player playing out of position instead of two. Whoa. Maresca's brain just got blown because his one brain cell couldn't keep up with that level of logic. And even the Asugo sub, it comes so late. It's basically a sub to waste time more than anything. He needed to be on so much sooner. Not that Santos was playing poorly, not that Fernandez was playing poorly, but we needed more legs in there. It should have been Palmer come off and Asugo goes on at some point after we got the goal. And it took, how long? 10 minutes? So there's just nothing from him that convinces me, yes, we've got it. We've got the man. This is the guy that's going to take us to victory. There's so much about his decisions that against better sides, it's going to hurt us. And I'm pretty confident Fluminense are probably going to be a better side. But the final thing to talk about before we get to individuals is the whole Esteval situation. I will say it is kind of funny because I feel like this is one of the few times that this is going to happen where a player that has already had a deal agreed and he's going to be moving to a club ends up playing against that club before that happens. Because most of the time, the only way that would happen is if you loan out a player and you put it in the contract that they can play against you in other competitions or something along those lines. I don't know if I've ever seen this before, where we've already agreed a deal. He's coming to us, I'm pretty sure this transfer window, I don't know when his contract is officially up with Palmeiras, but it's just weird to see him playing against us and giving it his all, to be perfectly honest, which, I mean, it's good. We want to see him at his best. We want to see what he's going to give us, and he looked pretty solid. Still a little young, still a little raw, but a lot of energy, a lot of fight, technically gifted on the ball. Still needs to get a bit stronger, but the work ethic is enough to hopefully give him a bit of a chance to break into this first team. But it's just funny to see him going like one-on-one with Cucurella, giving a little nibble at Colwill. All these little moments. You can even see a little moment between him and Cucurella just going back and forth. I'm sitting there thinking, you guys are going to be teammates soon. What is this going to be? Oh, it's just in the heat of the moment. I don't know. It's funny to think about. But anyways, on to individuals, though. Sanchez made a couple of good saves. The goal, not really much he can do about it. Some people say, oh, well, it's near post. But to be honest, that near post up high is so difficult for keepers to read. And anybody who can consistently do that, they're going to score more often than not. And especially where Esteval put it, off the crossbar, it was a very well taken shot. And I'm not going to take anything away from Sanchez for it. Outside of that, though, he did his job. Made some good saves. On the ball, still shaky, as always, but why do we keep playing to his feet? Once again, Gusto at right back, he was the one doing the inverting, and to be fair to Maresca, I kind of understand. Because if you're going to have either Gusto or Cucurella inverting, one of them is going to be more attacking, one of them is going to be a bit more defensive. Cucurella is better at both, so which would you rather have him do, attacking or defending as a defender? Probably defending. So it makes sense, but our attack died a lot of the time whenever Gusto got the ball, because he just doesn't have any ideas of what to do with it. And defensively, he got beat a few too many times. Not terrible. This was not his worst performance in this tournament by far. Still just not good enough. And the goal was not his. It was a terrible cross that happened to nick off a defender. Keeper was wrong-footed. Probably should have done a bit better. Very lucky goal. And for Maresca, also very lucky. But this does not suddenly make me go, oh, Gusto, great player. He did put in a good ball right after that, so maybe the confidence boost will help him get back to the level we saw under Pochettino, but I'm not clamoring to see him play again after this performance. This was still a bad performance from him. Colwill and Chalobah in the middle, both of them I thought played well throughout the first half. It did feel like their legs started to go a little bit in the second half, and the amount of pressure that was coming on them, it seemed difficult for them to handle, and I feel like that's where, as I've said many a times, you need to have a more experienced head in there. You need to have somebody who's going to read the situation a bit better and help get these guys a bit more organized, because they're just not really organizing us. And it was very plain to see that we were all over the place at times. Even for Esteval's goal, it comes from a terrible clearance, and we didn't set ourselves after that. So as soon as the ball comes back in, we're just not ready to react to that. Cucurella I thought did perfectly fine. Not really much else to say. Maybe his shooting today was a little bit poor based on his usual standard, but defensively he was very solid. Santos in the midfield, thought had a pretty solid game. Nothing spectacular, nothing to put any pressure on Caicedo or Fernandez or Lavia, but I think it was a good performance and it shows he's got a lot of capabilities in his game and I want to see more of him. I think Maresca needs to trust him more and stop trying to go to James over a real midfielder. But I think if there's one thing that I want to see Santos improve on, it is on the ball. His passing is fine, but his dribbling and his ability to keep the ball under pressure are a little lackluster. So I would prefer to see him grow there a little bit more. And especially in the Premier League, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him. So if he can't keep the ball under pressure, that's going to cause us issues. Enzo, I thought, did well in the midfield, knocked it around really well. Defensively wasn't the best, but that's not really his game. But I thought he did okay for what he's capable of. Into the front four, Neto on the right side, I thought looked a little gassed by the second half. First half, he looked okay. He was taking on players, doing a lot of creative stuff on that right side. So it was good to see. But yeah, second half, his legs started to go a little bit. He wasn't putting as much pressure as we're used to from him. But that's to be expected because I'm pretty sure he's played, except for the match against the Tunisian side, he's played every 90 minutes. So I think he does need a bit of a break. And that's where it's difficult because we don't really have many other wing options out there. Palmer in the middle looked really, really good. The goal was brilliantly taken. And this looks a lot more like the Palmer that we're used to seeing. So hopefully that means he's starting to get that confidence back. We're going to start to see him banging in the goals, creating a lot of good chances. I do wish he would have gotten a little bit of a break at the end of this one, but c'est la vie. And Nkunku on the left side looked pretty good. And after that goal in the last match, after his performance in the last match, are we about to see the revival of Nkunku's career? Maybe. I think Maresca rewarding him with time here is a good step in the right direction for his confidence. I will say the shot that he had that went flying up into row Z, probably not the best. But hopefully the more time that he gets in there, the more time that we see him grow into this team, maybe we'll start to see that old Nkunku come back and we will see the clever player that had good little interchange and good finishing. We'll see that player return. But to round things off, to Lap, didn't think he had the best game. He was more so getting into fights, getting into little petty shoving matches, more so than trying to help us. He did hold the ball up well, but I felt like his interplay, his ability to link up with everybody around him, we needed a little bit more from him today. It wasn't bad, it just wasn't what we needed from him. And that's where, getting into the subs, Joao Pedro came on and did all of that. He got on the ball, the passes, the quick turns, all of it, exactly what we needed from Delap in the first half. And I will talk a bit more about transfers in another video, probably after the tournament is done. But I think this transfer really does help us in a lot of different ways. Because one, it gives us another option up top where Jackson and Delap, both of them have their flaws, have their growing to do. Joao Pedro is not like he's the finished product, but I think he's got a bit more experience and a bit more know-how than both Jackson and Delap, and he links up the play a lot better than both of them do at the moment. I would say right now, as far as that link-up play goes, it's Pedro, Jackson, Delap. But outside of that, he also just gives us a lot of versatility because he can play in the 10, he can play out wide if we need him to. He can give us a few different options. I would even like to see him play alongside either Jackson or Delap up top, just to see what that would look like, just to see how they could work off of each other. Because I feel like each of them have their own strengths and their own weaknesses, and I think that gives us some good options. Now, is Maresca going to find those options, or is he just going to stick to his one stubborn way of doing things and not change no matter who we're playing? That's where I don't know if Maresca's the guy to take us forward. But at least having that option of all these three different strikers who play different styles, I think it just gives us so much more versatility. And Pedro coming on today showed that. He showed how different we can play whenever he's in there. He doesn't make those runs into a box like a 9 does, but the way he links up the play, the way he gets back and knocks the ball around in the build-up, it opens up space for Palmer to get him behind, for Madueke to get him behind, for Neto to get him behind. And that is where we probably do need a bit more potency from our wings, so that's something we're going to have to look at in the transfer window. But Madueke comes on as well for Nkunku, and I didn't see anything from him today that we haven't seen so far. And first thing he does is come in on his right foot. He comes careening across the field past 3 players. He's got 2 options wide open that he can slip it to, and he takes a terrible shot with his right foot. That's Madueke in a nutshell. Honestly, there have been rumors that Arsenal want him. I say let him have him, because he will not help them, just like he won't help us. He's better off going to a mid-table side where he could just do all this stuff and not have to worry about the pressure. The final 2 subs, Dewsbury-Hall, I don't know why he came on. I mean, got about what I expect from him, some hard work, nothing really effective. Asugo came on with, like I said, only a couple minutes left. I don't know why that sub was so late, but he didn't really have time to get into the game, so I can't really judge his performance. But overall, it was an okay win. It's good to get the win. It's good to get through the next round. but there are still so many issues with how Maresca is setting things up, with the personnel he's choosing. I just think looking at everything he does right now, I don't see us taking that next step this season. Like I've said before, I don't think this season is the season we win the title. I think this is the season where we do get into a bit of a title race. We stay out of the Champions League race. We comfortably finish second or third. No chance of us finishing outside of the top 4. But maybe we're not quite ready to win the title this year. That's the next step for us. And then the following season, that's when we go for the title. I don't know if we're going to do that with Maresca. If I'm being perfectly honest, I do not see him being the guy to take us to that level, because there's just so much about the way he makes decisions, the way he wants us to play. I don't think he's got it. But anyways, with all that being done, happy 4th of July. I know that's weird saying that as an American watching an English side, but oh well, I guess that's some irony, isn't it? But I'll see you guys hopefully in my preview of the semifinals, but until then, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts in this game? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea previews, reviews, and talks. And until next time, I hope you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you all later. And one more time, condolences, rest in peace, Diogo Jota and Andre Silva. You will both be missed. Peace out.